The school hallway buzzed with noise. Lockers slammed. Laughter echoed. Shoes squeaked against the polished floor. Just another normal morning. Until the front doors slowly opened. And he walked in. A new student. Quiet. Alone. Different. He didn't look around like most new kids do. Didn't try to fit in. Didn't smile. He just walked forward, calm, steady, like he had somewhere to be. Students began to notice. Whispers spread quickly. Who's that? New guy. Why does he look so serious? There was something off about him. Not in a bad way. Just unusual. His posture was straight. Controlled. His movements? Precise. Like every step had purpose. As he passed by a group of students, one girl noticed something strange. A faint scar, just near his jawline. Another on his hand. Not the kind you get from accidents. The kind that tells a story. But he said nothing. He kept walking. Like none of it mattered. That's when they noticed him. A group standing near the lockers. The kind everyone in school knew. Loud. Confident. Untouchable. The bullies. One of them nudged the other, smirking. Well, look what we've got here. Another chuckled. Fresh meat. They watched him carefully now. The way he walked. The way he ignored everything around him. And that bothered them. Because in their world, everyone reacts. Everyone shows fear. Everyone plays the game. But not him. As the new student reached his locker, he calmly placed his bag down. No rush. No hesitation. Just silence. One of the bullies stepped forward, blocking his path. Hey, he said, voice low but mocking. No response. The new student didn't even look up. The hallway grew quieter. Not silent, but tense. Like everyone was waiting for something to happen. The bully smirked again, stepping closer. I'm talking to you. Still nothing. No fear. No anger. Just calm. And somehow, that calm felt heavier than any reaction. More dangerous than any threat. A few students pulled out their phones. Something about this moment felt different. Like this wasn't going to end the usual way. The bully's smile slowly faded. Because now, it wasn't funny anymore. It was personal. And he had just made a decision he couldn't take back. Because the quiet new student standing in front of him wasn't just another kid. And they were about to find out the hard way. Exactly who they were dealing with. The hallway didn't return to normal. Not really. The noise came back. Lockers, chatter, footsteps. But something had shifted. People were watching now. Waiting. The bully stood directly in front of the new student. Close enough to invade his space. Too close. You deaf or something? He said, louder this time. A few laughs came from behind him. His friends. Encouraging him. Pushing him. But the new student? Still calm. He slowly closed his locker. Gently, like none of this mattered. Then he looked up. Not with fear. Not with anger. Just focus. I heard you, he said quietly. His voice wasn't loud. But it didn't need to be. Something about it made the space feel tighter. The bully tilted his head, mocking. Oh, he talks, he smirked. So what's your name, huh? A pause. Just a second. Doesn't matter. The new student replied. That did it. The group behind the bully burst into laughter. Doesn't matter. One of them repeated. Who do you think you are? The bully stepped even closer now, shoulder nearly touching his. Everyone here's got a name, he said. Unless you're hiding something. The new student didn't move. Didn't step back. Didn't react. And that was the problem. Because bullies don't just want control. They want reaction. Fear. Submission. And he was giving them nothing. The bully's smile started to fade. This wasn't going how it usually did. So he tried something else. A quick shove. Not too hard. Just enough to make a point. The new student's shoulder shifted slightly. But his feet didn't move. Not even an inch. A few students nearby exchanged looks. That was strange. Most people would have stumbled. Reacted. Said something. But him? Nothing. He just adjusted his sleeve, like brushing off dust. The bully blinked. Confused for a second. Then annoyed. Yo, you think you're tough or something? He snapped. Still no answer. The air felt heavier now. Phones were fully out. Recording. This wasn't just a normal school moment anymore. This was turning into something else. Pause for a second. What would you do here? Would you stay calm like him? Or stand up right now? Be real. Type quiet or fight back in the comments. The bully cracked his neck slightly, trying to shake off the weird tension building around him. Let me make this simple, he said, voice dropping. You're new. That means you follow rules. No reaction. You respect me, or you don't belong here. The hallway had almost completely slowed down now. Even students walking by were turning their heads, watching, waiting. The new student finally picked up his bag, calmly, like he was about to leave. For a second, it looked like he might just walk away, avoid it, end it. But as he stepped forward, the bully moved again, blocking him, this time more aggressively. Nah, he said. We're not done. A tense silence followed. You could feel it, that invisible line. Right before something breaks, the new student lifted his eyes again. Same calm, same control. But this time, there was something else in them. Something deeper. Something the bully didn't understand, didn't recognize. And that was his biggest mistake. Because what he saw as weakness was actually restraint. And pushing it any further was going to be a decision he'd regret. Very soon. Why now? The hallway wasn't just watching. It was locked in. What started as a small moment had turned into a full scene. Students stood in clusters. Some whispering, some recording, some just frozen, sensing something bigger was about to unfold. The bully didn't move, still standing right in front of the new student, blocking his path, challenging him. Where do you think you're going? He said, his tone sharper now. The new student adjusted his grip on his bag. Calm, controlled. I have class, he replied. Simple, direct. But the bully just laughed. Class, he mocked. You really think you're just gonna walk away like nothing happened? Behind him, his friends circled slightly, not fully surrounding, but enough to make it clear. This wasn't over. A few students in the crowd shifted uncomfortably. They'd seen this before. This is how it usually goes. One person targeted. Others watch. No one steps in, because no one wants to be next. The new student looked around for a brief moment. Not nervously, not searching for help, just observing, taking everything in, every face, every movement, every angle. Then his eyes returned to the bully. Still calm, still steady. But now, there was a quiet intensity building. Something beneath the surface. Something controlled. The bully stepped forward again. This time, closer than before. You think staying quiet makes you smart? He said. It makes you look weak. A few laughs followed. But they sounded thinner now. Less confident. Because something about this situation wasn't normal. Not anymore. The new student didn't respond. Didn't argue. Didn't defend himself. And that silence? It was starting to feel loud. Heavy. Like pressure building in a closed room. From across the hallway, a teacher walked past. Glanced once. Then kept going. Ignored it. That made things worse. Because now the bully knew. No one was going to stop him. All right, he said, clapping his hands once. Let's try something fun. He reached out suddenly, grabbing the strap of the new student's bag. Not ripping it. Not yet. Just holding it. Testing him. The hallway went quiet again. Phones tilted forward, zooming in, capturing everything. The new student looked down at the hand gripping his bag, then slowly back up at the bully. No anger. No panic. Just awareness. Let go, he said calmly. 2 words. That was it. But something about the way he said it made a few people in the crowd glance at each other. Because it didn't sound like a request. It sounded like a warning. The bully smirked. Oh, now you're talking, he said. But he didn't let go. Instead, he pulled slightly. Testing again. Pushing further. And that's when something changed. Not outside. Inside. You could see it. Just for a second. In the new student's eyes. A shift. Small. But real. Like a switch being touched, but not flipped. Not yet. At this point, everyone's watching. Different people. Different places. So tell me, which country and which city are you watching from? The tension snapped back immediately. The bully leaned in closer. You don't belong here, he said quietly. You either learn that now, or we teach you. A long pause followed. The kind that stretches. Feels heavier with every second. The new student slowly removed his hand from his side. Not aggressive. Not rushed. Just deliberate. Then he placed it gently on the strap of his bag. Right where the bully was holding it. Not pulling. Not forcing. Just there. For a moment. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the background noise of the school felt distant. Like everything had narrowed down to this one moment. This one interaction. The bully's smile started to fade again. Because suddenly, he wasn't in control anymore. He just didn't realize it yet. The new student looked him directly in the eyes. Calm, focused, unshaken, and for the first time, there was something undeniable in his presence. Not fear, not anger, something far more dangerous. Control. And the scary part? He was still holding back, still choosing not to act, still giving them a chance to stop. But that window was closing, fast, and everyone watching could feel it. Something was about to happen, something that would change everything. Because silence like this doesn't last forever, and when it breaks, it never breaks quietly. The silence didn't break. It stretched, thick, uncomfortable, almost suffocating. The bully's hand was still gripping the strap of the bag, but now it didn't feel like control anymore. It felt like a mistake. The new student didn't pull away, didn't react. He just stood there, eyes locked, posture steady, composed, like he'd been in situations like this before. Many times. From the edge of the crowd, a student leaned toward his friend and whispered, "Yo, do you see that?" "See what?" "The way he's standing." A pause. That's not normal. And it wasn't. There was no shaking in his hands, no tension in his shoulders, no nervous shifting. Everything about him was controlled, disciplined, like his body already knew what to do, even if he hadn't done it yet. Another student, recording from a different angle, zoomed in slightly. "Look at his knuckles," she muttered. "Faint marks. Not fresh. Old. Healed. But repeated. The kind you don't get from accidents. The kind that come from impact." Again and again. The bully, still unaware, tightened his grip just a little, trying to regain that feeling of dominance. "You think staring at me is going to do something?" he snapped. But his voice didn't sound as strong now. Something in the air had shifted. Even his friends noticed. The laughter had stopped. The energy wasn't playful anymore. It was tense, uncertain. Behind the crowd, another voice spoke quietly. "Wait, I think I've seen him before." "Where?" "I don't know, but something about him feels familiar." The new student slightly adjusted his stance. Just a small movement, but it was precise, balanced, intentional, like someone trained, someone who understood space, distance, timing. Not like a teenager guessing his way through a fight, but like someone who had learned it the hard way. A flicker of something crossed his face. Not emotion, memory, just for a second, gone as quickly as it came, but enough for anyone paying attention to feel it. Like there was a story behind those eyes. One no one here knew. One no one here was ready for. The bully scoffed, trying to break the tension. "Man, you're weird," he said, shaking his head. But he didn't step closer this time. Didn't push further. Something was holding him back now. Something he couldn't explain. And that uncertainty? It was new to him. Very new. From the side, a student whispered again. "Bro, I'm telling you, this guy's not normal." Then why doesn't he do anything? That question hung in the air. Because that was the real mystery. Why wasn't he reacting? Why wasn't he fighting back? Why was he just standing there? Calm, unshaken, almost like he was choosing not to act. And that choice was far more dangerous than any impulsive reaction. The new student slowly exhaled. A controlled breath. Measured, deliberate, like someone keeping something contained. Not out of fear, but out of discipline. His eyes shifted briefly past the bully, scanning the space again. The exits, the people, the angles, then back. Focused, locked in. The bully noticed it this time. "Yo, what are you looking at?" he said, a slight edge of unease creeping into his voice. No answer, just silence. But now, that silence felt different. Heavier, more loaded, like something beneath the surface was getting closer to breaking. And the truth was, everyone could feel it now. This wasn't just a random new kid. This wasn't just another easy target. This was someone who had been through something. Something intense. Something real. Something that had shaped the way he stood. The way he looked. The way he stayed calm when anyone else would have snapped. The whispers in the crowd grew louder. Confusion. Curiosity. Doubt. But one thing was becoming clear. The bully had picked the wrong person. And whatever was coming next wasn't going to go the way he expected, because the quiet new student standing in front of him was hiding something, something serious, something dangerous, and that truth was about to come out. The tension finally snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically, just suddenly. The bully's grip tightened on the strap one last time. "All right, I'm done playing," he said, his voice edged with frustration. And then, he yanked the bag. Hard. The movement was sharp, aggressive, meant to provoke. Gasps came from the crowd. Phones tilted forward. This was it. The moment everyone had been waiting for. But what happened next wasn't what anyone expected. The new student didn't stumble, didn't lose balance, didn't react with panic. Instead, his hand moved. Fast, precise, controlled. In one smooth motion, he twisted the strap just enough to release the pressure and stepped forward, closing the distance instantly. The bully barely had time to register it. 1 second he was pulling. The next, he was off balance. A quiet shift of weight, a subtle turn of the shoulder. And just like that, the control flipped. No wild punches, no shouting, no rage, just technique. Clean, efficient, intentional. The bully stumbled back a step, confusion flashing across his face. What the? He didn't even finish the sentence. Because the new student was already still again. Back to neutral. Like nothing happened. The crowd went silent. Not shocked by violence, but by how little of it there was. How did he just? Did you see that? That wasn't normal. Whispers spread fast. The bully shook his head, trying to process what just happened. Embarrassment hit him first. Then anger. "Yo, you think that's funny?" he snapped, stepping forward again. This time faster. Less controlled. He swung. A quick, reckless punch. The kind thrown out of frustration, not skill. And that's where everything changed. The new student moved again. Not back. Not away. Forward. Just a slight shift. A small angle. The punch missed completely. Before anyone could react. He redirected the bully's arm. Not forcefully. Just enough. Using his momentum against him. The bully stumbled sideways, nearly losing his footing. Another gasp from the crowd. Phones shaking slightly as people tried to keep up. This wasn't a fight anymore. It was something else. Something precise. Something calculated. The bully tried again. Another swing. Wilder this time. Sloppier. And again. The same result. Miss. Redirect. Off balance. No damage. No retaliation. Just control. The new student wasn't attacking. He wasn't even trying to hurt him. He was just neutralizing everything. Like he'd done this before. Many times. The bully's breathing got heavier. Faster. Frustrated. Confused. Because nothing he did was working. Nothing was landing. And worst of all, he was losing control in front of everyone. The crowd wasn't laughing anymore. They were watching. Studying. Realizing. This wasn't luck. This wasn't random. This was skill. Real skill. The kind you don't learn overnight. The kind that comes from experience. From training. From something deeper. The bully stepped back for a second, raising his hands slightly. Not in surrender, but hesitation. And that hesitation said everything. Because for the first time, he wasn't sure what to do next. The new student stood there, calm as ever. Breathing steady. Eyes focused. Not aggressive. Not emotional. Just ready. Ready if needed. But still choosing not to go further. Still holding back. And that's what made it even more intense. Because everyone could see it now. If he wanted to, he could end this in seconds. But he wasn't. Not yet. The hallway was completely silent now. No whispers. No movement. Just tension. Heavy. Thick. Unavoidable. And right in the center of it, one truth had become impossible to ignore. The bullies didn't find a victim. They found the wrong person. And whatever happened next wouldn't just change this moment. It would change how everyone in that hallway saw him. Forever. The silence in the hallway wasn't normal anymore. It wasn't just tension. It was realization. The bully stood there, breathing heavier now. His confidence, gone. Replaced by something unfamiliar. Doubt. Around him, his friends had taken a step back. Not planned. Not discussed. Just instinct. Because deep down, they felt it too. This wasn't a fight they understood. The new student stood still. Relaxed. Balanced. Like nothing that just happened had even fazed him. No anger on his face. No pride. No need to prove anything. And somehow, that made it even more powerful. From the back of the crowd, someone pushed forward slightly. A senior student. Older. Observant. Eyes locked on the new student. Then suddenly, wait. His voice cut through the silence. I know him. A ripple moved through the crowd. What? From where? The senior stepped closer, still staring. No way, he muttered. This guy, he's not just some new kid. The bully frowned, irritation mixing with confusion. What are you talking about? He snapped. But the answer came anyway. He trained overseas, the senior said slowly. Combat training. Real fights. Not school stuff. More whispers exploded around them. Are you serious? That's why he moves like that. I told you something was off. The bully's face shifted. For the first time since this started, he looked unsure, really unsure. His eyes flicked back to the new student, trying to read him again. But now everything looked different. The calm wasn't weakness anymore. It was control, experience, danger. The new student didn't react to the attention, didn't confirm, didn't deny. He just stood there, letting the silence speak for him. And that silence? It was louder than anything else. Backhand index pointing right. Engagement break. Emotional trigger. If you were standing there right now, what would you say to those bullies? One word only. Drop it in the comments. A teacher finally pushed through the crowd. What's going on here? She demanded. But even her voice lacked authority now, because the moment had already shifted. The truth was already out. The bully stepped back slightly. Just one step. Small. But everyone saw it. And that one step said everything. Because earlier, he wouldn't have moved at all. The new student slowly picked up his bag. Calm. Unbothered. Like he was ready to walk away. Again. No victory pose. No threats. No ego. And that hit harder than anything else. Because he didn't need to prove he was stronger. Everyone already knew. The bully looked around. At the crowd. At the phones. At the faces watching him now. Not with fear, but with judgment. Respect had shifted. And he felt it. He swallowed slightly, trying to recover something. Anything. But nothing came out. No words. No jokes. No control. Just silence. The new student walked past him. Slowly. Confidently. And for the first time, no one tried to stop him. No one dared. Because now they understood. This wasn't someone to test. This wasn't someone to push. This was someone who had already faced things far beyond this hallway. And chose peace anyway. As he passed through the crowd, people moved aside automatically, creating space, respect, without being told. And right there, without throwing a single punch, without hurting anyone, he had completely taken control of the situation. Not through force, but through discipline, through restraint, through presence. And the message was clear. Strength isn't loud. It doesn't need to show off. It doesn't need to prove itself. It simply exists. And when tested, it responds. But only when necessary. The hallway slowly came back to life. But something had changed. Something permanent. Because everyone who witnessed that moment would remember it. Not as a fight, but as a lesson. And the bullies? They wouldn't forget it either. The hallway slowly returned to its normal noise. Lockers opening. Footsteps moving. Voices coming back. But something felt different now. Like the building itself had changed. The energy wasn't the same anymore. The bully stood still for a few seconds longer. Watching. Processing. Trying to understand how everything had fallen apart so quickly. Just moments ago, he was in control. Surrounded. Confident. Now, he was standing alone in front of everyone who had seen him lose it. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly exposed. The new student didn't look back. He kept walking. Calm. Steady. Like none of it followed him. Like none of it mattered. But it mattered to everyone else. Students began whispering again, but differently now. Not excitement. Not fear. Respect. Confusion. Even disbelief. Bro, that was insane. He didn't even need to try. I thought he was just a quiet kid. A teacher finally stepped in, breaking the tension fully. All right. Back to class, she said firmly. But even she glanced toward the hallway where the new student had walked. Curious. Unsure. Because what she had just seen wasn't something you forget easily. The bully's friends slowly moved away from him. One by one. No words. No support. Because the moment things went wrong, everyone becomes silent. And silence says a lot. The bully finally looked down. For the first time. Not angry anymore. Just embarrassed. Realizing that what he thought was power was actually just noise. And it didn't work here. Down the hallway, the new student reached his classroom. He paused at the door. For a moment. Just a moment. Then he entered. No attention. No drama. Just another student walking into class. But inside that room, everything outside felt far away. Quiet again. Normal again. Or at least it looked that way. But the story of what happened in that hallway, it had already spread. Phones had already recorded it. Students had already shared it. And by the time the bell rang, everyone knew. A new video was already circulating. The new kid wasn't just new. If you believe strength isn't about fighting, but about control, type one word in the comments. Respect. Because that's what everyone learned that day. Real strength doesn't shout. It doesn't show off. It doesn't need an audience. It stays calm until it's necessary. And when it moves, everything changes. But only when it has to. The new student wasn't the bully of the story. He wasn't the victim either. He was something else entirely. A reminder that the quietest people are often the ones you should never test.